How do you handle Black's aggressive D for chess opening responses? Imagine you're sitting at the chessboard, ready to start with the move pawn to d4. Black responds with a bold move, aiming to challenge your center right away. How do you handle these sharp replies? Well, understanding what Black is trying to do is the first step. Black's aggressive responses like moving pawn to nf6 or pawn to d5 are designed to create dynamic play and, sometimes even sacrifice material for quick activity. When Black plays nf6, it often leads to openings like the Grinfeld defense, King's Indian defense, or Benoni defense. Black wants to attack your center pawns with moves like pawn to c5 or knight to c6. Your goal is to develop your pieces quickly and protect your center. Avoid rushing your pawn to e4 or e5 too early, because that can give Black chances to undermine your position. Instead, develop your knight to f3 and your bishop to f4 or g5, keeping your center solid. If Black plays pawn to d5, they are trying to challenge your pawn on d4 directly. You can respond by supporting your pawn with pawn to c4, creating a strong pawn chain. This keeps your center stable and prepares for further development. It's important not to push your e-pawn too early, as that can weaken your position or allow Black to open lines against your king. In the King's Indian defense, Black often delays playing pawn to d5 and instead develops the bishop to g7 and the knight to f6. Black plans to push pawn to e5 later, attacking your center from the flank. Your best move is to develop your knight to c3 and control the center with pawn to e4. Be cautious about overextending, because Black's kingside pawn storm can become dangerous if your king is not well protected. The Benoni defense is another aggressive option. Black plays pawn to c5 and often follows with pawn to e6 or e5, creating an asymmetrical pawn structure. Your plan should be to develop your pieces to active squares, control the center with pawns on d4 and e4, and prepare for a kingside attack. Avoid allowing Black too much activity on the queenside, and keep your pieces coordinated. Black might also try the Benko gambit, sacrificing a pawn early with pawn to c4 and pawn to b5. This aims for long-term pressure on the queenside. Your best response is to accept the gambit carefully or decline it, always keeping your focus on neutralizing Black's initiative. The main principles for handling these responses are simple. Develop your pieces quickly and harmoniously. Protect your center without overextending. Be mindful of weaknesses that can be created by unnecessary pawn moves. Respond accurately to Black's counterplay with tactical awareness and solid moves. Always castle early to keep your king safe, especially when facing openings with kingside attacking potential. Knowing these common Black responses and their plans helps you stay confident and balanced. You'll be able to handle even the most aggressive replies with clarity. Remember, the key is to develop your pieces actively, control the center, and stay alert for tactical opportunities. With practice, you'll find yourself responding smoothly to Black's sharp moves and setting up strong, flexible positions.